Hola amigos, ¿qué tal? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with the Spain News Update. A quick look at what's going on here in Spain, some of the news over the last day or so while I sit outside here in the garden. A beautiful day today, as you guys can see. We're going to get up to about 30 degrees Celsius today, very unseasonal weather, and predictions are that it's going to be a hot summer. We'll also go into the comment section and check out what's happening there. Also, check out what viewers are talking about on the channel. So let's get straight into the news. And the big announcement yesterday from Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez is that he's going to make, or his government is going to make, another 20,000 housing units available for social housing. But as is to be expected, there are some potential problems with this new electoral promise. As we can read here, Sanchez's new 20,000 social homes have no land available yet. In the Persian market that the parties have turned housing policy into, the Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez yesterday put another proposal in the shop window to build 20,000 new public and affordable rental housing units on land owned by the Ministry of Defence through SEPES, the Sociedad Pública Empresarial de Suelo that depends on the Ministry of Transport, Mobility and Urban Agenda. The fact is that the agreement with the department, headed by Margarita Robles, has not yet been finalised and that the land is still in the analysis phase. Starting the house from the roof up never made more sense than it does now. So there we go, a potential problem to Mr. Sanchez's new plan to build 20,000 new social housing, and a fairly big problem in my opinion and the opinion of this newspaper is that the land is not available yet. We know that the Prime Minister in recent times has been promising the world to Spaniards when it comes to housing, when it comes to social housing. He announced a couple of weeks ago 50,000 new social homes using some of the toxic assets from the bad bank that have been sitting there for about 10 years now. He also announced the other day 43,000 new housing projects that are going to be financed with European Union money, and yesterday announcing another 20,000 new social homes. So that puts the total of social homes promised by Mr. Pedro Sánchez over the last week and a half or so over the 100,000 mark. And basically nobody except for the government and its supporters thinks that this is possible to build that many social homes in, I don't know what the time frame is, but we're not going to see these social homes, in my opinion and the opinion of many other people, if we ever see them at all, in at least about 5 or 6, maybe even 10 years' time at the way things work, unfortunately, here in Spain. Now, the second piece of news today related to the drought here in Spain and one of the secondary effects of the drought, and it is that olive oil prices have been pushed up to record levels. As we can read here, no rain in Spain pushes olive oil prices to record levels. A lack of rain in Spain has pushed prices for olive oil to record levels, with analysts warning that a particularly dry summer could lead to even lower crop yields later this year. Olive oil prices have surged almost 60% since June to roughly 5.4 euros per kilogram on the back of a severe drought in Europe that last year ruined olive crops across the continent. Spain, the largest olive oil producer, was hit particularly hard. The country's farmers typically produce half of the world's olive oil, though annual supplies have roughly halved to about 780,000 tonnes in the past 12 months. In 20 years in the industry, I have never seen these prices, says Vito Martinelli, grains and oilseed analyst at Rabobank. So there we go, and as that analyst said, he has never seen prices as high as the ones that we have currently. And myself, as a consumer of olive oil, I like to put olive oil on salads, lightly fry things in olive oil as well. I must admit that prices are very, very expensive at the supermarket that I go to. In fact, I haven't bought brand olive oil for a long time now, only home brand olive oil, because it's still a little bit cheaper. But if you use olive oil, let us know what you are paying currently for it at your local supermarket. Now, the final piece of news we'll look at today relates to the debate that took place yesterday in the Spanish Senate here in Madrid between the opposition leader, Mr. Feijóo, and Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez. Pedro Sánchez had some interesting things to say about the way Spain operates, especially when it comes to what he considers are some of the bad things about this country. As we can read here, Pedro Sánchez lists Spain's evils, laziness among them. The Senate yesterday hosted a new face-to-face between the socialist leader and the leader of the Popular Party. President Pedro Sánchez appeared in the midst of the pre-campaign for the 28th of March elections to analyse the measures taken to deal with the consequences of the invasion of Ukraine. However, other topical issues also came to the fore. One of the most striking points of Pedro Sanchez's speech is his listing of what he considers to be the evils of Spain. Our mission as a government is to support Spain's desire for progress, its drive, its hopes for improvement, and we are not doing this to fight any compatriot, but to fight the main evils of our country, which are pessimism, fatalism, injustice, inequality, laziness. They are and always have been the enemies of Spain's progress, he said. So there we go, some interesting words yesterday from Pedro Sánchez describing some of the evils facing Spain. As he mentioned, pessimism, fatalism, injustice, inequality and laziness. Let me know what you think, if you agree with Pedro Sánchez or not on some of the big problems that Spain is dealing with, these things in particular. Let me know in that comment section below. Now, time to go into the comment section, and before I do, I'm just going to have a swig of water. My throat is a little bit dry, and no, I'm not being sponsored by this water brand, Solán de Cabras, but if you're watching, please consider it. First comment here from William. Be careful if you go to Portugal, as you may return to find squatters in your house. How could squatters take possession of the house that you paid for? It simply doesn't belong to them. What kind of idiots are in the Spanish government? Yeah, William, thanks for the comment, and to be honest, I have often asked myself the same question that you posed here. What kind of idiots are in the Spanish government? And the answer is, I have absolutely no idea. And this comment obviously relates to the fact that it's going to be even more difficult from now on to get squatters out of your home if they move in, especially if you are considered a large landlord here in Spain. Very, very difficult to get people out because you're going to have to prove that they are not in desperate need of housing, and there's going to be more bureaucracy in the way, more things that you need to do to get those squatters out, and the government, as I said, making it more difficult to remove squatters. And the other question that you pose here, how could squatters take possession of the house that you paid for? Another good question, and to be honest, it doesn't make sense, but it happens unfortunately far too frequently in Spain. Another comment here from Antonio. Yes, we need more trees. Yeah, Antonio, thanks for the comment. And yes, you are right. We do need more trees in this country. In fact, yesterday, this story made the press. Some cities here in Spain, town halls, are reconsidering how they design cities. Less asphalt, less concrete, more trees, more shaded areas to help with the hot summers that many cities in this country suffer. And as we know, they are starting earlier and earlier every year, unfortunately. So let's get planting and increase the amount of trees here in Spain. Another comment here from Angela. Elche city and surrounding areas have lovely parks and many trees. It is known for the palms. It's lovely all year round. Yeah, Angela, thanks for the comment, and thanks for pointing out that Elche and surrounding areas have lovely parks and many trees. Not sure whether you're living in Elche or not, or whether you just visit that part of Spain frequently, down there in the Valencian community, Alicante, I think, and palm trees it is known for. Not many palm trees in Madrid. I don't think we have the climate to grow palm trees here, but of course there are parts of Spain where palm trees are prominent. For example, the Mediterranean, the Canary Islands and places like that where the weather is a little bit better. But maybe Elche is the model city when it comes to trees, and other cities in the country need to copy cities like Elche and plant more trees. Another comment here from David. 100,000 public housing? You have to be asleep to believe it. All of a sudden, the politicians started to be more creative to add more ridiculous ideas to their agenda for their own interests. Yeah, David, thanks for the comment, and I'm sure that a lot of other people will agree with your sentiments there in that comment. 100,000 public housing, you have to be asleep to believe it, because a lot of people think that this is impossible. Election promises that won't come true. Where's the land going to come from these last 20,000? How are you going to convince the squatters that are currently living in some of these houses that they now have to pay rent? That's another interesting question that I don't think the government has thought of. But as we know, 2023, an election year, and the promises are coming thick and fast. Pedro Sánchez the other day said that Spain needs to change its housing model, more social housing, so he's putting everything on the table. But as I said, a lot of people on the opposite side of politics skeptical about Mr. Sánchez's words, and I'm sure lots of people on Mr. Sánchez's side of politics also skeptical about what he has had to say regarding public housing. But we'll see if it does indeed come true, or whether it is just another empty election promise. Time will tell. Another comment here from Larry. I don't like Torrefacto coffee, but there are some good coffees in Spain. I prefer Café Solo, and the brand I prefer is Candelas. Yeah, Larry, thanks for the comment, and thanks for continuing with the coffee debate that we started on the channel recently. Somebody said, an expert said, that Spanish coffee is absolute rubbish. I agree. Lots of people in the comment section also agreed, but some people said that they enjoy Spanish coffee, and you pointing out that your favorite brand is one called Candelas, which I have seen in some coffee shops here in Spain. Not a lot, but in some I have seen it, and I agree with you that it's not a bad coffee. One of the better ones that you can find in bars and restaurants here in Spain. But in general, I stand by my opinion. Coffee in this country is terrible in general. On that note, I'll wrap the video up. Questions and comments, please leave them in the section below. Debate the video out as you normally do. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. I'll see you in the next one. Hasta luego.